Skill-based passing, probably the biggest feature that EA added to Madden 23, has been a point of contention across the Madden community. There's a school of people who think that the classic passing is the best and skill-based passing is a waste of time, but then there are the majority of people that are growing every single day and they think skill-based passing is the future, and it's something you need to master if you want to be good at Madden moving forward. Now, for a lot of people, it might seem confusing. There's a lot of settings and people aren't really sure what's best, but thankfully for you guys, I've been playing the game basically non-stop for the last week, and so I feel like I've mastered the skill-based passing. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys the settings I use and the ones that I think are best, and then I'm going to hop into some gameplay and show you guys how to actually use it in-game to maximize the potential of this new feature. So to start, let's talk about your settings. If you go into options, you can do this at a pause menu, or you can do this in the home screen. You go to settings and you go to game options. Inside of game options, there's a new section that hasn't been there in past Maddens that says skill-based passing. These are essentially all of the settings that are going to affect how the skill-based passing works for you in game. If you don't want to deal with it at all, you can set it to classic, and as you can see, the settings are grayed out and your gameplay will revert to the past Madden's version of passing, where you essentially just use your left stick and pass the ball where you want it to go. However, I don't think that's the best. I think you should be using placement and accuracy, and the passing slowdown feature I have as off. How this works is it will slow down your quarterback's throwing animation in order to give you longer to place that reticle where you want the pass to go. This is not enabled during online play, so it doesn't really matter, but from my perspective, there's no time where I would ever want my quarterback's throwing motion to be slowed down. That's just not good, and so I have it as off. You should never have it on. Now, the Freeform reticle max distance. This is one of the most important things. You can have it to no max distance, where essentially you can put the reticle anywhere on the field on a throw, and it will throw the ball at that spot. You can have it near, you can have it to far, or no max. And so I use near. When you use near, you can almost never miss a throw. So even if you press the button and you put your stick all the way to one direction, it's usually going to put it at the furthest amount it can be while the receiver will still catch it. It's rarely going to be a bad throw. So when you use L2, you actually can miss throws very, very slightly by maximizing how far you're throwing it away from your receiver. Sometimes when you pass lead it a little too far, using Freeform, the pass will fall incomplete. But that's okay if it happens sometimes. When you use far, and especially when you use no max, you have to be very precise with that reticle, and honestly, it gives you more control. So if you are a very skilled player, if you want to get to the top level, I'm sure no max is kind of, you know, the biggest flex if you're using no max, but I think near gets the job done. It puts the ball pretty much exactly where I want it, and I think that's the move. I have my Freeform reticle speed at 6. This is relatively slow. If you want that reticle to be even higher, you can raise it to 12. I wouldn't go higher than 12. I tried it on 20, and I did not like it. It was way too fast. I recommend 6. That's what I use, and I think 6 is the move. I have my reticle visible. I have my meter visible. These aren't really mattering. This is just a visual cue if you want that. But that's basically it, man. Near on the Freeform distance and 6 on the reticle speed. A lot of people have been asking me in chat what I use, and so here it is. Aaron Rodgers have an ability? I didn't realize Aaron Rodgers has Gunslinger and Pass Lead. This is not a good team to use. We're going to switch over to the Raiders because my boy Derek Carr doesn't have any abilities, and so I think that will be more applicable to the state of the game right now. But now that we're in here in practice mode, I'm going to show you guys on these deep passes right here. I'm going to throw it to Waller. I'm just going to pass it out in front of him. And you can see the throw is almost behind him a little bit. The throw seems to float. It gets him behind him, and that's been the biggest issue people have been having with skill-based passing, is that the deep balls don't seem to really get in front of the receivers the way they should. Once again, it's just not passing him as much as you think it should. And if there's a DB behind him, even by a couple yards, online it seemed like the DBs have been able to make up that lost ground and then make a play on the ball, sometimes intercepting it, sometimes breaking up the pass. And that's not good. Now, that's not how it has to be. I think that what a lot of people are missing is you don't need to bullet pass it. You can lob it a little bit, put a little air under it. I'm gonna show you what that looks like if you don't hold it down all the way. Pass lead it in front. That ball was a little bit more out in front of him. You see he caught it more in front than behind. Now, I don't know if that was a great example. I'm gonna show you on a streak here. Streaks are the biggest one that I don't think you should really be bullet passing fully. If you're throwing a streak and you throw a bullet pass, a lot of times the DB is going to be able to make up that lost ground and get a play. Now, here's a secret that I want to give you guys even more on deep passes, and that is to high pass. This year, high passing, which if you didn't know is L1 or left bumper when you make the throw. Look at the type of throw I'm going to get to Hunter Renfrow right here. Now, that is really in front of him. So my advice to everyone is on any deep throw, always high pass. Always high pass. This year, for some reason, with this skill-based passing, the high passes are never inaccurate. And I am rack catching that. I'm not aggressive catching. Your receiver will go up and get it even on a rack catch. Now, I'm going to show you on a deep pass, and this is what I've been doing a lot. High pass it, rack it, and that animation right there, if you use someone like Donald Parham Jr., who's 6'8", Kyle Pitts, he's 6'6", any of these big boys, if they have a DB even slightly behind them, you throw the high pass and they get that jumping rack animation, there's no chance the DB is able to play it. So the number one tip I can give you when throwing deep balls is hit the high pass. Every single pass, corner, whatever, if you're throwing it deep, you're high passing, and he's the only one who's going to be able to get that ball right there. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is underneath passes. So I've already talked about on the deep balls, always be high passing. Once again, that's L1 or left bumper. Underneath, though, for example, on these out routes, the freeform is going to increase your maximum pass lead distance. I'm going to put this down and away from my receiver, and you're going to see the way he had to lean forward and almost fall over to catch that. If there's a DB on his back hip, it's not going to get played. Down and away with the freeform, you see Devontae Adams once again sliding to the ground to make that catch. The DB on his back is not going to be able to play that. And so using these mechanics situationally is incredibly important, because if I wanted to fit a corner route underneath a deep corner, I might L2 pass that far away, and you see Darren Waller had to come all the way, tap his feet, and there's no way a deep zone is going to be able to play that. So once again, if you're throwing underneath and you're wanting to throw away from the defender, you're going to want to use the L2 freeform feature and throw it as far away as you possibly can. And you're going to get that type of animation right there where the DB's not really going to be able to play it. If you're wanting to throw over the top of a defense, high pass, high pass, high pass, pass lead, up and away, high pass, and you're going to get those great animations just like that. So I think a lot of people who have been hating on this freeform mechanic really just haven't got the hang of it and aren't really using it to its maximum potential. Additionally, if you are fitting in passes over the middle, you have so much more control over where the pass goes. Let's say there's a safety high into the outside of Darren Waller. If I want to just throw this pass to him and I throw it like that, that safety's going to hit stick him. That safety's going to come down and make a play on the ball. We don't want that, obviously. But I'm going to show you guys with this freeform, again, pass you can do, or a high pass. If Darren Waller's on that same streak and I want to throw it, I pass it inside with a high pass, and he can easily cut inside and get that. And again, makes the world of a difference. A lot of these high passes you could do with classic as well, but I think the placement of the ball is just a little bit better with your freeform mechanic and the skill-based passing. So I want to show you again what I just threw right there is just a freeform pass. Let's say there's a middle third, right? Let's say there's a safety right over the middle, and I want to fit the ball into Darren Waller. I freeform it, and that was a seam streak that I led to his back shoulder away from the safety. And as you can see by the way he caught it, if he's barely getting there, the safety on the other side of him is definitely not going to get there. So once again, it's all about using it situationally. I can only show you guys so much, but a lot of it's going to come down to you just using it in game and using it against the real opponent, knowing when to fit in what passes and how to do it. I think, though, one thing that a lot of people are missing is this high ball feature, that when you throw the high pass, you pass lead it up and away from him, and you rack catch it, you get that sick animation that with a tall receiver is going to dominate pretty much any defender. But that just about covers it from an information perspective. That's pretty much all I can give you just by word of mouth. A lot of it's going to rely on you guys going in game and getting reps in and using it that way, because without getting a feel for it yourself, you're never really going to be able to master it just from watching a YouTube video. For the rest of the video, I am going to show you guys some clips of me using it in game and show you exactly how good it can be against a live opponent. Hope it helps you out, and hope you guys have good luck online with this feature. That is such a good fucking freeform pass lead. The cornerback was on his ass. I pass let it down away with freeform as far as it could go. I held L2 and it put it in a spot where he has a slide on his knees to go get it. And the corner couldn't even make a play. If you have classic passing on, that's incomplete at best and maybe a pick. I think Moss wins here, no? I think Moss wins here, no? Come on. Fuck you harder, bitch. There we go. Get in there, get in there, get in there, get in there. Come on, let's go. Let's go with Thornton. Come on. It's a dot, man. Moss, come on, baby. Put it on the board. Randall F. Moss.
Now I'm on the outside.